Hi, my name is Bob and I'm renovating this 1973 Egg Harbor Sportfish boat. Well, hello everyone, welcome to Renovation Sportfish. I'm here at the boat today. Most of the work I'm doing at this point, this is late November, I'm doing in the shop. But I felt like coming over here just to check out the boat and just film these introductions and things. So it's a little noisy in the background. They're shrink wrapping a boat pretty close to me and they're moving boats around still and winterizing them. So there's a lot of activity going on here today. We got a storm coming in tomorrow, probably supposed to dump, they predict like 5 inches in this area. So welcome snow. Got my winter whiskers going here. Keep this on for a couple months until the end of February when it gets shaved off again. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the continuation from the last video. This is going to be part 3 of the projects I worked on in the year 2017. And in this episode I'm picking up where we left off in the last one, where we had finished installing all the cover boards and the trim piece underneath it. And we're getting into the varnishing part of it. Now, for varnishing these cover boards, I actually have shown a video before with a demonstration actually of me doing some varnish in other areas. And if you want to check that one out, I'll list the episode number here. It's a little bit of a demo going on with that, so you can see all that. I'm not going to go over all those steps again here, but basically I used all wood. It's an all grip product. There's a primer coat. This is the first coat you put on. It's like a separate product they have. And then you follow it up with 8 coats of actual varnish. The only difference I did here from that demonstration video where I was actually varnishing mahogany was this Ipe wood. I treated it more like a teak type of wood. So before I put the primer coat on, I wiped it down really good with acetone. That's what they recommend for an oily type of wood like that. So that's what I did. Did the 8 coats. I was able to get 2 coats on a day. This was done probably June, July time frame of 2017. So it was pretty warm. The coats were actually drying pretty quickly on me. So I'd come here early in the morning before I went to work and put a coat on. And I'd go to work and then come back later on and put a second coat on. Sanding, scuff sanding in between them, and that's how it went. So yeah, a few days I knocked it all out and was all done with it. So I guess we'll look at that, and then we'll look at a couple other things kind of associated with all those pieces back there. So one thing I wanted to point out here before we get started were these horizontal furring strips. Now I added these all around the whole cockpit to keep the shrink wrap from touching the wood during the sanding and varnishing process. Well, once these cover boards were varnished, I didn't go right to varnishing the trim below them. I had still to do a little work, which I'll show after I show this next little segment here on those. So yeah, I just did the cover boards at that time. And then once I got those on, I wanted to install all the nice little stainless pieces, the hardware, and some of the stainless rubbing strips and different things. So let's take a look at the installation of some of this bling here. Okay, going down this starboard side cover board, you can notice that I did not reinstall the railing that was there from the factory. I don't know if it was a factory option or the original owner just installed it after he bought it, but I decided not to put it in. I did frame underneath for it anyways, so that won't be put on here. The other thing was there's a rod holder up in this area, and I think on the other side of this fuel fitting there was a couple of them. I'm not going to put those in right now. I would rather get the boat in the water and then decide where I actually want to put them. So I'm just going to leave those out for now. So this is one of the fuel fittings, fuel filling for the gas tank. I've got one on both sides. This is the fuel filler fitting on the starboard side actually. And this screw that's coming through here is where I'm going to attach the grounding wire. And yeah, I still got to attach all the hoses. The fuel tanks aren't even in yet. So that's what that looks like on the bottom side. So we've got those in there. And if we drift back a little bit here, this curious little fitting right here is actually to attach a fender. Since they had them attached to the railing, I don't have the railing. I have to find some way to attach them. So there's actually a little pin that goes in here. And might have a picture of that somewhere. I don't have the pins here. I think they're back at the house, so can't show you. But then there's a little button on this side to release it, spring loaded. So you just tie your fender to this little ring and you pop it in here, and this locks automatically in, and then you pull the button back to release it. So you don't have to worry about tying fenders and things, and it's nice flush fitting. There's some rubbing strips here for the lines. Then we go around back here. There's the hose pipe. Right now it's currently supporting the frame for the shrink wrap. So as far as the hose pipes goes, these are not the original ones. These are stainless steel ones, a little bit dirty because their shrink wrap was leaking a little. Probably in hindsight, probably would have used the original chromed bronze ones, but at the time I really didn't know if there was a good chromer around here. I found one. I had some other pieces done since I put these in. They came out good, some of the original fittings up front, so I still have the bronze ones, but these are in for now, so they're just going to stick there. These are just 3/16 stainless ones. We had to get deep ones so they would make it through the plywood and the cover boards. And then we go to the center in the back here, and we have the flagpole fitting. So this is the flagpole fitting, and one of the things I had to do to it was drill at the bottom that whole drain hole there. It didn't really come with a drain hole, so I had to drill that out. And then this is the bottom side of it, just so you can see what these fittings kind of look like. So you may be wondering what this foil is around the boat here. It's really to protect the varnish from the heat of the shrink wrap gun, the torch. I had a little issue when I first epoxied the tow rails up front. When they shrink wrapped the boat, they kind of melted all the epoxy off of it. So I was trying to think of a way to protect it. I found this. It was just a single-sided foil wrapped material with a sticky on the back. It's for duct work. I found it actually at the big box store because it's kind of expensive if you find this kind of stuff online with foil on both sides. And I just bought a roll of aluminum foil from the grocery store and stuck it on the sticky side, put that side out in case it failed. And it's worked really well. I gave it a little test after I did that with my heat gun and a thermometer, and it wasn't even registering any difference in temperature on the other side. I mean, so it worked out really good. It's been on there for a while. To install it, I just taped it down on this side with some blue tape, painter's tape, and on the outside to the hull until they put the shrink wrap on, and then I pulled the tape off, and the shrink wrap just kind of holds it in place now. So yeah, that worked out really good. Goes around the whole perimeter of the boat. Comes in 12-inch wide pieces. I cut it in half, so these are 6-inch wide. So it was a pretty inexpensive way to protect some expensive varnish and a lot of work. Okay, so once all those stainless pieces were on, then it was time to finish up the trim below. Before I could varnish, I had to put a couple pieces of blocking in. There's a couple little step ladders. Here's one of them right here. They go on each side of the boat, and it's a way to get from the cover boards down onto the actual cockpit deck. So there's a little block of wood that goes on there. Installed one on both sides, and then did the varnishing on it. So here's the finished piece of blocking for the step. And just in case you're interested in seeing a little more detail on it, but that's basically it. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and come back for the next one. And speaking of that, the next one is just going to continue on with the 2017 projects, and the main project in that episode is going to be the tow rails, fabricating and installing new ones. So it's a fun and interesting project, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with everyone. So until then, have a good one, and we'll see you really soon right here on Renovation Sportfish.